heard you want to level up your sewing game this year. Well, I'm Angelina, and so do I. Here's 8 things you need to know when sewing jeans. This is Blueprint DIY, where we mostly upcycle, but I teach sewing classes locally in Houston, and I think one of the best ways to get really good at sewing in a short amount of time is to make a pair of jeans. So here's what I learned and why I think you should really make your own jeans as well. We're getting ready for our denim class. Got our pattern. We're about to go into Joann's so that we can find some denim. Hopefully we find something good. This is a really good Joann's.
Oh, you should have told me to meet you at this.
I know, it's just so far though.
Compared to mine,
Yeah. Look how big this is. Look how much fabric they have over here. Look at that. All right, we made it to the apparel fabric. They are really stepping the game up. Mm-hmm. All right, here's the denim. We love the selection of denim, but this is my inspiration right here. So I really wanted some denim with a good weight to it.
what should we pick? What do y'all think we should pick? I don't know. I like these cherries low key,
Yeah, that is cute.
but it's too lightweight.
So this is what we chose. They're both 12-ounce weight denim, which was perfect for us. But you really have to consider the machine you'll be sewing on and what thickness it can handle and how you want the jeans to flow when they're done. The pattern I'm using, I got it in Portland. Unfortunately, it's only in centimeters, but I figured out that I need 3 yards. So now Michelle's getting this one by Loris and Mimi. We need to take her measurements and figure out how much fabric. Okay, so we found her waist measurement is 36. The waist measurement is 36. So that means we're gonna size her for size 42. Pattern measurements are always bigger than your regular clothes. So now we know 42, we're gonna go down and it tells us for jeans A, which is what we're looking for, this fabric is 57 and a half inches wide. So we're gonna look at the 60 inches wide. She needs 2.5 yards. We're gonna go ahead and get 3 yards. So the next day we're back at the office taking our measurements just to make sure we cut off the right size pattern. And it's definitely better to double check. And that's when we discovered something.
Lord, what now? Just
We bought the wrong size pattern.
What do you mean we bought the wrong size? Plus size or something?
Yes, this pattern is only for 44 to 52. But when I didn't pay attention because on the back it has all of them listed. So since they had all of them listed, I was just thinking like, okay, that they got all from 34 to 52 in this. That's what I'm saying. Like when I'm looking at like, where's our size? This ain't gonna fit neither one of us.
See, that's the lesson right there.
Yeah,
Sure.
make sure you get the right size pattern.
So that meant I had to go back to Joann's and I bought Kayshell, the smaller version of that pattern. And I chose this one based on the size that the other pattern said I was. And this pattern does have a QR code to a full tutorial and I'll include it in the description. My waist measurement is 34. My hip measurement is 31. This is my planner. And so why is it saying I'm a size 20 in this? Girl, I'm done. I'm done.
What is this pattern saying I should have bought the plus size? When I say I hate patterns,
Bottom line is that pattern sizing sucks and you have to follow your best guess. I looked at the finished garment measurements and ended up cutting it a size 14, which turned out absolutely perfect. So since we got that sorted out, we can go ahead and cut out our pattern pieces and lay them out. By the way, both our jeans are very similar and mine only had 14 pattern pieces, I think, and hers had 18. And in my opinion, the order of construction on mine was much simpler. So choosing the right pattern definitely matters. Before we move to our next lesson, meet our new boss. If you're new here, Kayshell has been working for me for almost 2 years now. And not only is she a great employee, but I get the great pleasure of adding an official Blueprint baby to the family. So everyone, please welcome Crew to the Blueprint DIY family. Introducing Crew. This is our boss, y'all. Okay, he told us to get back to work. So the next lesson is make adjustments as you see fit. This pattern is for crop jeans, but I wanted mine to be full length, so I measured my length down the side and marked there. It may be helpful to draw a line with chalk so you don't forget and cut them off short anyway. The other adjustment I wanted to make was to have much bigger double knee pieces. So even though I originally cut them to the smaller pattern piece, I went back and cut out bigger pieces that were perfect. And I think next time I'm actually going to turn these into actual pockets as well. You can see that I started off with these long tailoring shears, which were great, but the table was low and my back was hurting. So I quickly switched to electric scissors. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to turn those tight curves, but I had no problem maneuvering and they really helped me to finish a lot faster. So if you have a lot of pattern pieces to cut, you might want to try these. I'm definitely going to link these in the description as well.
All right. It says stitch each pocket facing section to each upper side edge front. You got that?
So one of the things that I really like about this pattern is how simple the front pocket is. All you do is sew the lining part to the front, clip the curve, turn it right side out, press it flat, add a top stitch, lay it on this denim piece, and sew the pocket closed. But that brings us to our next lesson, getting perfect top stitching. You can see here that my boss was trying to stop me and tell me that my top stitching was bad.
Oh my gosh. Why is that so loose?
When it comes to top stitches, here's a few tips. First, try using the thickest thread your machine will take. Some machines will work with denim thread, and this Janome HD9 or my Sailrite will actually sew with a V90 leather upholstery thread. Thicker thread makes your top stitches look way more defined, and it'll make your final product look more like you bought it in a store. Next, make sure your stitch length is set at least at 4. A longer stitch on thick denim will look more defined as well. Lastly, play around with your tension to make sure the stitch is balanced and sew on a scrap piece of fabric first. So now I can make basting stitches to make sure my pocket stays put and serves the pocket edges. Next, I'll iron my knee pads, put them in place, and top stitch them down.
In my classes, we do an exercise where we turn corners, and this is the reason why we do that exercise. When you're doing top stitches, you definitely want to make sure that needle goes down before you turn so that your fabric isn't moving all over the place and you don't lose your place.
And in order to get your second stitch to stay parallel with the first, try lining the first stitch up with the edge of the foot or some other marker. And then all you have to do is focus on if the stitch stays lined up with the mark that you choose. All right, the next lesson is rivets.
All right, so I bought a rivet kit, and then I bought the little nib, and all of this will be in the description box for my thing. You can buy a hand tool just to do these, but I already had this tool, so I figured why buy the hand tool. All right, we got our rivets on. I just did 3. Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Next, I'm ready to sew my yoke on, serge the edge, iron it down, and top stitch. Then I'll iron my pocket edges, top stitch the top edge, pin them in place, and top stitch them down. Now I can sew my side leg seams. And I must say that this Bernat V37 really impressed me. I used it to do all of the sewing together of the pieces, and it really did a great job. And I didn't even have a denim needle in it, which you should have a denim needle in your sewing machine. At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about the sizing, but it looks good so far. Next up is the fly. This is the part I was absolutely dreading.
Pin right fly out of way.
But after struggling through this myself and with my students, and every single pattern had different ways of doing it, here's the way that I found is most simple to me.
All right, so these are the parts that you'll find in a lot of patterns for your fly. So you have your 2 jean pieces. Normally the pockets will already be done, but I just cut out these sections so that I can show you. Then you'll have your zipper, which you buy separately. Then you have your fly piece. This is cut 1 and it has interfacing on one side. And then also this piece, sometimes it's in 1 piece, sometimes it's in 2. Mine is in 1 piece and you fold it in half. This should have interfacing on one side. So the first thing that we are going to do is serge the curved edge on this. So this one, good side to good side on the right pants piece here. So these 2 pieces together roughly up to this point.
fold this piece to the inside and add a top stitch right along the edge. We also want to iron this side so that it's turned in, and we're going to iron that flat. All right, we still have that piece in there. That piece is folded. Now we're going to take this piece. If yours is in two pieces, you're going to lay them good side to good side and sew the long side and the curved side. Mine is in one piece, so I'm only going to lay it folded good side to good side and sew this lower edge. Now we're going to take it and fold it right side out, iron it flat, and serge this edge. Now we are going to take our zipper and line it up with this edge. You can actually also serge this as well. We're going to take our zipper, line it up with this edge right there. So I'm going to use zipper tape because it just helps it stay in place without the use of pins. Where's the edge? Put it on both sides. This side, we press it in, take the film off, and then we're going to put our zipper in place. Line up your zipper tape with the top of your jeans so that you still have room to put on your waistband without hitting the zipper. And then we're going to take this piece, and that goes to on the back side. And that's going to line up with that. That piece did have a notch, but I cut it off with the serger. So we're lining this up with this. So now I'm going to go sew in with my zipper foot these three pieces, the zipper, this, and this all together. And if you don't want that stitch showing, use a thread that matches your denim. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is take this piece, overlap on top of here, and we're going to pin this closed. You can base stitch that closed if you are okay with having to take that stitch out. All right, so this is very important. You want to turn it over, move this out of the way, because now you are going to sew the zipper to this piece. Just the zipper and this piece. You can add zipper tape if you like to make sure it stays in place, but you're sewing just the zipper to this piece. So now when you take out the pins and you unzip your zipper, you have an open fly. So now we can also close up if there's any opening in the crotch, we can go ahead and close that up. And we can also draw on our J curve. Once you've done that, you want to open the fly up, and you want to make sure you do not sew through this piece right here, only through this. So it should sew through this as well. And you're going to take it to your machine, whatever you're doing your top stitches with, and sew that curve. You can sew a double one if you want. So now we have a fully functioning fly that actually opens to let you in and out of the jeans. Okay, so now that we got the fly on, let's sew up that back seam, and that leads us to lesson 7. Make sure you try them on before putting on the waistband. And all that fuss about cutting these a size 14 when my measurements said that I should be cutting it a 20, and they're still too big. So this is really the perfect time to try them on because I can take in that back seam to make them fit absolutely perfectly. Now I'll top stitch that back seam and go ahead and close up the legs. Next, I'll make my belt loops and prepare my waistband. And that brings me to my last lesson. Do not put the waistband on upside down like you see me doing right here. It's really easy when you get to the end of the project to just start making silly mistakes. And then you want to give up, so let me save you the heartache. If your waistband shape is curved like mine, you'll attach the bottom of the curve to the top of the jeans. I know that the top of the curve follows the curve of your jeans, so it makes sense in your head, but that's wrong because then the waistband, once you turn up the waistband, it'll flare out instead of coming in towards your body. And you don't want that because you want a nice snug fit. After putting the waistband on correctly, I did all of my top stitching, added a buttonhole. Whew, see, that's the purpose of that pen.
Is she fighting for her life?
Getting through it. So we are almost done. Almost done. They fit great. I am so glad that I followed my instincts on the size. I put them on so I know where to put my button. I squeeze them as much as I want. I mark with some soap in the buttonhole. So that's where we're going to put our button. I really like the length, so I'm going to put the very smallest hem that I can. I bought the screw type because for my class, if somebody does them wrong, then at least they can undo it. And a button, and that buttonhole was on the B37. Did a great job, and I hemmed the legs. All in all, I absolutely love my very first pair of jeans from scratch. And I actually bought more denim to make 2 more pairs. I do plan on adjusting the pattern a bit to bring up the crotch. And of course, like I said before, turning those knee patches into actual pockets. So, what do you think? Would you try to make your own jeans? If so, I hope this video was helpful. And I will see you guys in the next one. All right. Bye.